What were some factors that helped your father decide to leave India?
My father, when he graduated from high school, he was very interested in engineering and wanted to get a degree in engineering. And in India at the time, there wasn't a lot of programs to further your education in India. And so when he talked with his family, they knew of some very good educational opportunities in America at the time. America was well known for its education, colleges, technology, and they had a family friend who had come to America around that time, and they thought that maybe if my father left India and went to America, that he could get a really good engineering training. After several years of being in America and getting a job, after he had gone to school for several years, then he was in more of a financial position to send some remittances back to his family in India. So at that time, he did send small amounts of money back to India, but he also needed to keep a lot of the money at the time in order to pay for things that he needed.
Okay. Was there a large number of people migrating from India to the United States at the time?
My father immigrated to India in 1962, and at that time there was some people from India that were immigrating. It was a small number of people that were mostly immigrating for other opportunities in education because of the good colleges and universities in America, and also certain individuals who wanted to get further training in certain businesses and companies that were coming to America. So it was mostly for education and career reasons that people were immigrating. At that time, America did have more of an open door policy to immigration. So people were able to immigrate to America.
Since India is very far away, did your father know what to expect when he came to America?
Well, because that was back in 1962, and there wasn't a whole lot of television in America. It was hard for people in India to really know what it was like in America. There were some opportunities to see some movies or shows on films in India. So my father did go view some of the movies that were filmed in America at the time to get somewhat of an idea. But it was still somewhat of a mystery also as far as what he was getting into. He was only 19 years old, so he was younger and wanted to kind of experience things and was more excited about doing something that was different.
Okay. Was your father forced to migrate, or did he do it voluntarily?
He did it voluntarily in order to seek better education in the field of study and engineering, which is what he wanted to pursue.
Did your father reach the destination he first set out for, or did he go somewhere else because of an intervening opportunity?
So when my father decided to immigrate to America, he chose coming to Oklahoma State University and applying there because they were a good engineering school, and also because a family friend had settled in Oklahoma. So he applied for admission at Oklahoma State. Another friend of his also applied there, and his friend also got into the program there. And so after getting admitted, also having a friend be admitted, and also having a family acquaintance, at least in that area, they decided to immigrate to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is the area where the family acquaintance was, just to have somebody that would possibly be able to help them if they needed while they settled down. And
He did not stop along the way. He set his course for Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that is where he went almost immediately.
he traveled by boat from Bombay, India, initially to England, and then the next leg of the trip was from Southampton, which is the city where the Titanic was launched, and that traveled by boat again from Southampton, England, to New York City and Ellis Island, which is where he first landed in Oklahoma, in the United States, I'm sorry. And then from there, he traveled by bus and ultimately arrived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was his initial destination and what he was able to reach. It took him 22 days to travel from Bombay to the United States by boat, and then a few more days to travel from New York City ultimately to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And how did you end up in Pittsburgh?
So I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is eastern Pennsylvania, from about the age of 2 until I completed high school. Then I went to Penn State University in central Pennsylvania for my undergrad degree. I decided to pursue a career in medicine and applied for different medical schools. And one of the medical schools I was accepted to was the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine here in Pittsburgh. And it was a very highly regarded and is a very highly regarded medical school. So once I got in there, I made a decision to come to Pittsburgh. I knew some information about Pittsburgh since it was only 2.5 hours away from Penn State where I did my undergrad. It was here in the state, in the same state, so it wasn't too far from my home.